Hi everybody, in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to do this ladybird watercolor illustration using the watercolor brushes. Also, if you're part of monthly brush club in the supporter or student tier, you can access to all the brushes I'm using for free. Let's start by opening the watercolor texture papers inside the brushes. And remember, we always have to draw in the layer underneath the texture. The illustrations that we're gonna do, it is a symmetrical one, so we're gonna activate the drawing guide into Procreate. Go into Edit Drawing Guide and go to Symmetry and clicking Done. This way, everything you do in your iPad, it will mirror in the other side. Let's start sketching the ladybird, and I'm gonna start drawing like the main body, and then I'm gonna do a semicircle for the head. Keep drawing all the different details as the antennas or the legs until you're happy with the final result. Then what I'm going to do, it is going to the layer settings and lower the opacity. That way I can still draw the sketch and see all the different lines, but it is not very obvious. Same for the drawing guide. I'm gonna hide it because I don't need to see this line in the middle during the whole process. I'm gonna create a new layer and move it down the sketch, and I'm gonna start adding color. And look, when using the watercolor brushes, I cannot do a lot of different strokes, otherwise it will look very patchy. Instead, I'm gonna draw in one single stroke. So as you can see here, I'm coloring half of the ladybird and I'm not lifting my pencil from the iPad. I'm gonna do now exactly the same but with the other half of the ladybird. And also, I'm gonna leave one part uncolored that is gonna be one of the lightest areas, as you can see here on the left. Do now the head, and I'm gonna create one more layer on top. I'm gonna change the color to black, and because this time it's gonna be like symmetrical, I'm gonna tap on the layer and click in assisted drawing. And the same in one single stroke, I'm gonna color the whole top part of the ladybird. I can see that these like white areas, they're like really thick, and I would like to change them slightly. So I'm gonna go to the liquify tool in Procreate, and with the pinch and push tool, I'm gonna try to move the different colors to make this space to be much smaller. Same as when you're using normal traditional watercolors, when you do this type of illustrations, you start with the lightest layer, and then you start adding more and more color in the areas that you would like to make darker. So we're gonna do exactly the same here. So let's create one more layer, and now we're gonna think which areas of the ladybird we want to emphasize and make it darker. If you pay attention, I'm gonna leave some areas with no color at all. I'm gonna change now the layer mode into multiply. I'm gonna fix now those areas where the colors they don't look right. And I'm gonna select the smudge tool and use the smudge soft brush. Just go over the edges and blend any colors that you wish. I'm gonna do now one more layer with shadows areas, and I'm gonna do exactly the same as I did before. Just select which areas do I want to color it more and go over them very softly. This time I'm gonna change the layer mode into color burn. And one more time, let's repeat the process. New layer. I'm gonna actually this time take like a darker color and add even more shadows. You're starting to see now which areas I am avoiding more, creating more depth into the illustration. One of the ways that I add the shadows in those layers, it is starting on the edges by the center. This way I can press harder and then softly releasing some pressure to create this kind of like gradient from very dark to lighter. Let's take now the smudge tool and go over all the areas that they look a little bit patchy, just to make everything much soft and smooth. I'm just adding in the same layer, even more shadows, just to make everything pop up a little bit more, especially around the edges. I'm gonna change the layer mode into color blend and just lower the opacity. I'm gonna start working now in the head, and what I'm gonna do is select the erase and the brush of like line grunge edges, and I'm gonna just rub it out certain areas just to create like this like shine and more volume. Let's do now the legs and the antennas. So I'm gonna create a layer on top, and I'm gonna make sure that I select a drawing assist because I want to draw just one side and mirroring the other. And the brush is gonna be the same as before, the line grunge edges. When drawing the legs, what I do it is to think that they have like a lot of tiny sections, starting with the one closer to the body to make it a little bit longer, and when I'm going closer to the other side, making it like smaller and smaller, as you can see here. The very final thing that I'm going to do it is to draw the pattern inside of the body of the ladybird. So I'm going to create a new layer. Make sure that inside of the layer setting you select assisted drawing, and then I'm gonna just start drawing some different shapes just to create this pattern. Remember, as well as we have done through the whole illustration, every time that I drew a new shape or something new, I am doing in one single stroke, not lifting my pencil from the iPad. I would like to fix some of these shapes, so I'm gonna go back to the liquify tool as before, and I'm gonna just modify all the different like areas until it looks the way that I like. If you want, you can add some splatters, some stains like in the background. But that's gonna be the end of the tutorial. I hope you really enjoy it, and if you do it, please tag us in School of Illustration. Also remember, if you subscribe to Monthly Brush Club in the student or supporter tier, you can access to all the resources that I use in the tutorial. Just go to the description box to find out all the information. Bye bye!